some big shifts, especially around those like middle athletes maybe that just haven't gotten their event yet, because we're going to see, especially in the later tests, we have high power output and a heavy lift. So some of the athletes that might not have thrived yesterday on gymnastics and a long endurance event might do very well in those. And just getting those 100 points can get you so far up the leaderboard.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that more as the day progresses, but let's take a look at the schedule for the rest of the day. We talked about at the beginning of the weekend how we had 7 scored events. We're going to see 3 of them today because we've got a 4A and a 4B, which is a 1 rep max deadlift and 100 calories on the bike. So 300 points up for grabs for the individuals. So that's going to make it an exciting day of competition to watch as always. But before we continue to talk about the competition, let's talk about Project One, which is our signature hybrid competition for the community. And Amy Bream has more on Project One.
We saw Project One all season long last year, and it's not going anywhere for season 2. In case you're new here, Project One is World Fitness Project's hybrid race that serves also as a community initiative that connects people with all fitness levels. We saw all competing athletes perform this workout in December for the World Fitness Finals, including the pros. The setting for Project One at this London tour stop is so cool. This venue is typically set up for concerts, so the team here set up an underground rave-like vibe on the bottom floor. It's complete with lighting, pumping music through the speakers, and a full running course that surrounds the workout equipment. Matthew Bickle, who oversees Project One's community initiative, spoke with me about how much it's grown in the past year and what we have to look forward to in 2026. Where have you seen the most growth of Project One in World Fitness Project between season 1 and 2?
Oh man, great question. We are really excited about the proof of concept from last year. Last year we were more trying to figure out the right layout, the right place, and didn't even have dedicated floor space for it. And so this year we have our own room with our own equipment at every single tour stop, and as well as we're going to deploy it all over by itself in different cities and different locations. And so we're just finding that we love the proof of concept from last year, and now this year we're trying to grow it into its own entity versus just our young child of the company. It's all about community. I love coming to these events and I love seeing these pro athletes work out, but to watch a 60-year-old woman finish this race and like do something that's almost like a Misogi, something that she's been training for, and to reach that accomplishment is so cool and so exciting. And I just get to high five people, I get to have fun. It's such a looser environment. I feel like the pros are awesome to watch, but the stress level is at like almost a tangible point. Down here, it's just all fun and games. So that's my favorite part.
It has been so much fun seeing Project One grow and develop this much so far, and we are just getting started.
All right, thank you very much, Amy. That is our competition reporter, Amy Bream. We want to start talking about, or looking at the competition. We want to start with the women, though. Before we really dive into it, let's take a look at the top 10 and how they are sitting as they come into day 2 here in London. Amy Kringle sitting atop the leaderboard with 195 points, followed right behind her with Laura Horvath. This battle has continued ever since season 1. We expect it to continue all season long. Andrea Solberg second, Lydia Fish 4th, Emma Wilkinson 5th, Emma Tall, Sydney Wells, Emily Rolfe, Hannah Black, Ariel Lowen. That is your top 10. In terms of when we're looking at the women, though, who are some women, when you look back at day 1, you felt had a really good day?
Well, obviously, you're going to be able to see like Amy, Laura. We were expecting that. I do think they're going to have a great day today as well. But some of the other ones, like Andrea Solberg, that's a great way for her to start the competition, whereas today might be a little bit tougher for her. But then if you go like a little bit further down and you look at someone like Hannah Black being in top 10 going into day 2, she's going to have a fantastic day today. So for her, she might just end up climbing even higher.
What did you like about Matilda Garnish yesterday?
Well, I would like to say Matilda Garnes had a great finish yesterday. We didn't mention her yesterday night. She finished 8th in that final workout, and she was the highest end of the challengers, and that got her higher up on the leaderboard. She's a name that has been in this for quite a while now. Last event we saw her at was Wodapalooza earlier this year. She took 15th place there. But what I loved was what we talked about as well. She had just more tools. When things were starting to get hard in the workout, you saw her on those double unders. She was changing the grip. And that comes with the experience of an athlete having something to go to when you start struggling. So I was very happy for her to have that finish yesterday, going into today with the momentum.
And I can see an athlete on that top 5 in the leaderboard, Lydia Fish, really, really consistent yesterday with a 4th and a 4th. And that's coming off the back of a season last year where really she was an unknown, and I thought she was fantastic last year, and I think she's doing the same this year. Great showing at the games, but also a 10th place finish at the finals last year in Copenhagen. And today might not be quite as much in her wheelhouse as yesterday was, but I'm seeing some improvements there as well. So we could see her name in that top 10 all weekend, in my opinion.
I also love that you said like a little bit unknown, but she's becoming now just known. Like, I'm not surprised to see her up there, and I think she's going to continue to just be high on that leaderboard.
I love your 2 picks. The name that stood out for me was Ella Wilkinson, local hero here. She is currently sitting in 5th place. So she took 6th, took 5th. Really cool story with her. She took the very last pro card spot last year, finishing in 20th at the end of the season. And prior to this, the highest ever ranking she'd ever had in a workout was 6th, doing the Pro 1 at the finals last year. But the highest she's ever been on the leaderboard is 8th. So this is an all-time high. When we look at her average placings of last year, she sits around 17th to 20th place. So, I mean, I bet she's in a position right now on home soil, sitting in 5th, being like, wow, amazing. I also think another really cool story, a lot of people in this space have dealt with injuries. She had a full Achilles rupture in 2020, and that's a nasty injury. That's not a simple repair and get back on the floor in a few months job. So to see her back now and, you know, clocking in the best performances that she's had is very cool.
I also think she's going to continue to grow because now she and Amy are going to be training together, training partners, and that will only help them get higher. Like, we've seen what that can do for these athletes.
Yeah, environment's so powerful.
We're also talking about, we're going to stay on the women's side, but in terms of someone who you're hoping to have a bounce back day, what woman stands out?
Straight away, who stands out to me coming into today is Jen Muir, purely because of what we have coming up today. And Jen Muir had a pretty solid season last year, and she's on that upward trajectory. Also a newer name out there. She had a 26th and a 24th place finish yesterday, which might not be quite where she wanted to be, but I've got my eyes on her for that deadlift. We've heard rumours, and I say rumours, so don't quote me on this, that she can deadlift close to 440 pounds, which for the metric system is 200 kilos. If she can even get close to that, 100 points on that workout could be massive for her.
All right, let's transition to the men. We're going to take a look at the top 10 after day 1 as well. And we've got a couple of youngsters, especially in that top 5. We got Tuta Magda sitting atop the leaderboard with 155 points. Roman Krinikov in 2nd. Ty Jenkins sitting in 3rd. Spencer Panchik, Yellow Host to round out the top 5. Annual Lakai, James Sprague, last year's champion. Nate Ackerman, Chris Ibarra, and Samuel Cornway sitting in 10th. So, bigger picture now when we look at the men in terms of guys who had a nice little standout day on Friday. Who are we looking at? Annie? Oh.
Yeah, let me jump in because
Okay.
I've been looking at this leaderboard very closely, and the name that jumps out to me, I mean, he was one to watch anyway for me because he's such a young competitor. Nate Ackerman, 22 years old, CrossFit Games champ in the teams division, in the 16 to 17, and now stepping into the big leagues. He, again, like Ella Wilkinson, this is just coincidence, I promise, took the very last pro spot again. And so now to be an 8th, this is the highest he's ever been on the leaderboard. Averages around about 11th to 12th place finish. So again, he must be licking his lips, you know, in that top heat. You know,
Licking his lips.
top heat. You know, rubbing shoulders with the big dogs and doing really well.
Pip, as for you, who are you looking at?
I'm looking at Spencer Panchik. I think we can't get through the weekend without mentioning Spencer. Lots and lots of experience, been around the Panchik family, a CrossFit royalty at this point. And I mean, currently sitting in 4th after not having like a massive year last year, missing out on the games. We haven't really seen him in an in-person event since NorCal Classic last year, where he also finished 4th. So I think over the weekend, looking at the workouts, we could really see consistency from him. There's a lot of stuff in his wheelhouse there, multi-modality workouts. He's also very strong on a barbell. So I'm excited to see if he can stick in that top 10.
So after yesterday, I'm looking at Sam Wycornway because he wasn't really planning on competing again. And it's been a while since we've seen him on the competition floor. He's had more focus on just his family. He started an apparel company and is coaching. But he just loved the season and the structure, and he got really excited about jumping on the floor again and just seeing where he's at. So when I talked to him yesterday, he said he's feeling pretty good, but maybe not as prepared as he wanted to be. But with his kids watching from home, he wants to show them that when you are somewhere, you show up and you give it everything you got and are not afraid of the results. And that's exactly what he's doing.
As for a guy who we're looking to see rebound on day 2, who are we thinking?
Travis Mayer. He's my boy. I've been very lucky to spend a lot of time with him over the years. He is the only guy in the field who's still out there from the 2013 games. I know Pip competed with him as well in that same year. And I think just, as you get a little older in life, it's just cool to see people with similar ages still out there and competing. He finished 20th on day 1. But when you look at the workouts we have coming up today, these are Travis Mayer workouts. We've got high power output. He's a strength power guy. He has this alter ego that the guys at Training Think Tank refer to as Trevor. And Trevor is, the second personality of Travis that only comes out in big time moments. And the workouts he often excels in is when he's right on the bubble and it's a high power output, high speed workout. And he pulls this crazy version of himself. And I spoke to him yesterday and said, I'm looking at these workouts, Travis, and I'm thinking this is your kind of thing. And he was like, this is fitness. This is the stuff that I love doing. And I'm ready to send some screws out my Echo bike.
I would also say it's not surprising that the athletes that you pick to rebound should also have a good day today, especially when it comes to workout 4, which we're going to get to in a little bit. But first up, the individuals, they're going to take on London Pro 3. So let's show you London Pro 3.
London Pro 3 is presented by Adidas. London Pro 3 begins with a 50 or 40 calorie row, then a set of 25 burpee box jump overs. A set of 50 dumbbell goblet squats with a 100-pound or 70-pound dumbbell, or 40 calories on the ski, a second set of 25 burpee box jump overs, and finally a set of 50 double dumbbell thrusters with a pair of 50 or a pair of 35-pound dumbbells. There is a 16-minute time cap for London Pro 3.
All right, thank you very much, Spike. Let's talk about London Pro 3. When you look at this workout, what's your initial thoughts?
Oh, the initial thoughts would be, this one is going too hard. This one is another grinder that we're getting. It's one of the longer workouts that we have. We saw the longest workout yesterday, the first event yesterday, and this workout would be in a similar category. You're going to go fast, you need to find your threshold, and you need to just try to maintain it. We have 50 burpee box overs. We have 80 calories on the machine, but then we have 100 weighted squat movements. So when we would start breaking down the workout, you would start thinking, where are you going to be gaining the most amount of time? I would be the athletes more calories, the better. Unfortunately, I don't think that is going to be the main part in this workout.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think this sort of workout really rewards athletes that can keep moving and that have really strong pacing strategy. They don't come out of the gate too hot, and also really smooth transition. So even little things like not too many foot movements on the burpee box jump overs and keeping all of the reps nice and clean, making sure that there's no reps and adding more volume into already a massive workout.
I also love that we've got a new element this year. The dumbbell goblet squat, I feel like it's one of those movements that in the world of fitness is kind of seen as like this low barrier to entry movement. It's like, it's step one of loaded squatting. So to see this program for the elites, a 100-pound dumbbell for the men, 70 for the ladies, it's not heavy, but it's just a kind of awkward position. There's lots of loading through the shoulders. The core's having to work because the center of mass is actually quite far away from the body relative to a barbell. So it's kind of like one of those weird elements that you may have kind of those athletes who thrive with odd object work do a little bit better with. Annie, I want to throw a question to you. When you look at this workout, where do you see for the general field the biggest bottleneck potentially being, or the biggest separator?
Yeah, because I don't think there's going to be a bottleneck,
Yeah.
but the separator, I do think is going to be in those seconds that you could lose. Like being aware of when you have, I look at the squats and that would be the separator in my mind, because yes, you can gain time on the machine, and obviously if you go really hard, but you can't go too hard, you're going to be a little bit more fresh if you're really good on the machines. However, if you have a great squat, a fast cycle rate, clean reps, you're going to gain significantly more time there, at least in my mind. If you have 100 squats and you lose half a second per rep, that time adds quickly.
And you talk about losing time, even putting the dumbbell down, having to pick it back up, get it back into position, reset yourself. I think the athletes that are really smart with their rep schemes and are really methodical about where they're going to put it down, being strict with themselves, sticking to rep schemes that they've probably done in training and practice is really going to pay off.
Yeah, it's kind of, I'm thinking about workout one, where we saw the only athlete in the whole field who took an event win, who led from the start, was Amy Kringle. This might kind of be one of those events as well. It's kind of a test of patience. The person who's going to come off, that first erg first might not necessarily be the person that's winning this event, because I think those final 50 dumbbell thrusters, again, the load for these guys isn't necessarily heavy, but given there's already 50 loaded squats, you've done all those other reps prior to that, the person that can hang on and execute those at fast cycle rate with the lowest amount of breaks, like we saw with James in workout 2 yesterday, sitting behind the field, behind Magda the whole way, and then 120 double unders on that final movement was the difference between second and first.
As an athlete, I always felt a little bit better about events like this, because if you make a mistake, it's not going to be as costly. So we're going to see unless you just are stupid and go too hard on the machines. But they're not going to be as costly because you have time to make up for it. You're like, if you drop the dumbbell, you can grab it and continue to going, versus like dropping a heavy barbell or something.
I agree with you on that.
You, Ed, kind of led me to my next question. You alluded to it a little bit. Is there a compounding effect from the overhead squats to the squatting we're going to see today? Is there an impounding effect from all the shoulder load we saw to the thrusters we're going to see today?
You know what? If I was doing this competition, Derek, the answer would be yes. But I think for these guys and girls, I think no. I don't think there's going to be all that much. I think with the dumbbells and the thruster and the goblet squats, the leg is going to be the primary driver. As you were saying, Annie, the athletes who have that ability to kind of almost switch off in the eccentric and kind of bounce out the squat, they're using a lot of momentum out the bottom. So I actually don't think there's going to be all that much residual fatigue coming in from day one. Ladies, would you have any thoughts on that?
I would agree with you, but I think that athletes that aren't as strong in their squat and as confident in their leg endurance, because even at this weight, it still takes time squatting and to get that built up strength in your leg. So even at lower weights for higher reps, athletes that might not be as strong on their squat may feel it, maybe not later today, but they might feel it tomorrow, just in DOMs and a bit of extra pain that they probably don't want to feel.
When I look at events like this that we're going into, as an athlete, I just love when you can put on the blinds and you could just continue to go. Like we talk so much about the squat, but it is literally you're just in your own head, you're trying to count and you try to break it down, because even though it says, I'm gonna say only 50 squats, it isn't that many. But mentally, this workout is going to be challenging to just continue to keep pace, because in your head, you might have the time to have the conversations like, should I drop it now? Should I drop it now? And you need to be able to stick to your plan, or just towards the end, like, are you gonna try to go through? Is someone going to struggle on the press out on the last thrusters if they push too hard? I don't think we're gonna see a lot of it, but I think we're gonna get that, the being willing to go to that dark, uncomfortable place where you're just in yourself, like you almost don't see anything else, and you're just doing your freaking work to be able to get through. That's where I see this workout finishing.
And I think what's always unique about workouts like this, it's a chipper, right? So when we look at workout one yesterday, people think about, consistent pacing per round. It's a lot easier to break up in terms of how you want it to feel. Chippers are always tough because the movements are changing as you go along. So as you said, Annie, like the best executed pacing strategy on this is going to be the people who leave just enough for that final set of thrusters to be able to fully empty the tank. But there's that potential trip up again, going a little bit too hard too soon, not being able to lock out final thruster, and losing 5-10 seconds. It's going to be good to watch.
All right, so with that being said, it's time to make some picks. We're gonna start with the men, and I'm gonna go with Tuta Magda on this. I'm curious, he's a confident young man. I'm curious what his confidence level will be like coming into day two, knowing he's on top of the podium. Sometimes we see athletes kind of fall to that pressure. I think he's gonna rise to it.
I think it's a great pick. I'm going with someone that's willing to go to that dark place. The reason you chose him yesterday, Pip, I'm choosing Roman here because I think he will just like grind it through.
I have to go with James Sprague on this one. I think what we saw in those weighted double unders yesterday, where he just was not going to put down that rope, that's what's going to be required in this workout, and I think we'll see it.
I've got to back up what I've been talking about all morning, so I'm going to go with Travis. I think he has that ability to go to that dark place. He has this kind of well-known fact of doing 150 wall balls with 30-pound ball unbroken, like squatting endurance is massive. And again, he said he's looking at these workouts and he's like, this is just good old fitness and this is the stuff I like. So I'm backing Travis.
On the women's side of things, I'm going to go with Laura Horvath. I think she smells blood in the water now, and I think she's going to continue to put her foot down, especially in comparison to Tour Stop 1, where we were kind of wondering where Laura was, and then she kind of had to rebound for the rest of the season. I think she's going to send a message here on the first Tour Stop of season 2.
I'm going to pick Oda Lundekvam. She, one of those Norwegian girls, has a fantastic engine, and she said she loves workouts with dumbbells. There are very few athletes that are going to say they love workouts with a lot of dumbbells and squatting. So I'm hoping she's going to take advantage of that.
Look, I have to choose Laura as well for this one, and for very similar reason to you, Derek. I think, yeah, she's not going to lie down and let anyone take this from her, but also I think she's got the advantage with the squat endurance and on the dumbbells.
Oh, I'm gonna have to be boring, guys. I'm going with Laura as well. She's a beast on the ergs. Day 2, she notoriously has big day 2s. She's got a great engine, great with dumbbells. Yeah, Laura's my pick.
I always want Laura to do good, but since I have the only other athlete, I'm kind of hoping I'm gonna edge you guys out here.
Yeah.
All right, we've got a team competition later on in the afternoon, so let's take a look at the team standings and where they currently sit. Right now, we have Team Fleck atop the leaderboard right now, followed by Pursuit of Happiness, The Pace Programming, RX Performance, and Grit Red are your top 5. They've got a workout later today, 4A and 4B. Ed, you got a quick note on the workout?
This is a horrible workout. So the team is going to be split into 2 partnerships. We've got a male-female pairing and another male-female pairing. And essentially in their pairs, they are choosing one of 2 poisons. Poison number 1 is, as a partnership, they have to complete a 400 cal echo ski, followed by a 400 cal echo row. The other pair at the same time are completing 150 synchronized box jump overs, then 150 synchronized single arm dumbbell snatches at 70 pounds for men and 50 pounds for ladies. So when it comes to pair ups, it really matters. You're really trying to match a male and female pair who may be a little bit more erg specialists. Maybe these are taller athletes, heavier athletes, the people who love engine. And then when we look at the box jump overs and the dumbbell snatch, people with fast cycle speeds, maybe similar lever lengths. I mean, this one would really hurt.
All right, it's going to be a fun one for the teams. We're obviously going to be watching the individuals as well. That is actually up next as the women, they're going to take on London Pro 3. So for that, we're going to send it down to the competition floor with Jeremy Austin and the rest of the crew.
It all began with a jump rope in 2015. It was tangled, plastic, and poorly adjusted. We knew we could do better, and so we did. We built our first prototype by hand. It worked. It made a difference. Our first double unders made a big impact. We felt the joy of success for the first time, and it felt magical. From there, our mission became clear: to facilitate the joy of success for athletes around the globe. Since then, we've focused on one thing: improving what others overlook. Engineering and innovation are our tools.
Victorious. In this day and age, I got time for innovation. Time to be creative. Time too big to waste on my time on critics hating. Flattered by your opinions to show you I'll just embrace it. Now watch a early sunrise up. No daylight savings, go nuts when I have to. Glaze bet my sound in this beats on the house that we dreaming. Watch me way back up in there, guess who my thoughts are distorted. Cause I recall guys were hating uncommonly. All of them became common denominators. Hold up.
It all began with a jump rope in 2015. It was tangled, plastic, and poorly adjusted. We knew we could do better, and so we did. We built our first prototype by hand. It worked. It made a difference. Our first double unders made a big impact. We felt the joy of success for the first time, and it felt magical. From there, our mission became clear: to facilitate the joy of success for athletes around the globe. Since then, we've focused on one thing: improving what others overlook. Engineering and innovation are our tools.
Victorious. In this day and age, I got time for innovation. Time to be creative. Time too big to waste on my time on critics hating. Flattered by your opinions to show you I'll just embrace it. Now watch a early sunrise up. No daylight savings, go nuts when I have to. Glaze bet my sound in this beats on the house that we dreaming. Watch me way back up in there, guess who my thoughts are distorted. Cause I recall guys were hating uncommonly. All of them became common denominators. Hold up.
Season 2 of the World Fitness Project rolls on. We are live from the Drum Sheds in London to continue tour stop number 1. Some great performances yesterday by both our pro individuals and teams. Hello and welcome, Jeremy Austin, Katrin Davis-Sotter and Bailey Rail joining you, and a very exciting day yesterday for both our team and individual competitions. Kat, first, let's dig right into the females, because I think that is going to be an incredible competition right across our 3 days.
Incredible. So I think Laura and Amy just picked up right where they left off last season. So tying for points in the overall standing, neither one of them backing down. Both had a phenomenal day, and it should be an amazing one today as well. So just excited to see them battle it out.
Like their tiara is just being passed back and forth at the moment. Who's going to be the queen?
Exactly, and we kind of talked about that. I don't think either one wants to win on a tie break. I think they're here to make a statement.
Big time, Bailey Rail. Wonderful to have you in commentary with us. You had a really busy day yesterday. Some activation stuff happening just out the back here.
Yeah, it was an awesome day. This is actually my first time at the WFP, and so getting to be part of the community and on the other side of things has been so special, and just getting to have the spectators be able to have a workout themselves while they're being inspired by the people on the floor was really cool to be part of, and I'm just honored to be here and be part of the action.
Well, that's great that this is your first experience at WFP. What are your thoughts of the entire project that we've got going on here?
I have been blown away from getting to see the build out of things, to get to see how everything is so intentional, everything is so classy and put together. The athletes are taken care of, the volunteers are taken care of, and everyone just has a smile on their face. They're having a great time, and it's just been so refreshing to be part of it.
Big time. And all the interviews that happened yesterday with Amy and Lauren, and the biggest thing to come out of that was, oh, how are you feeling? And everyone's saying, I'm having fun.
Yeah.
Did you ever get that throughout your career when you could just come and have fun?
For me, it was always kind of the opposite. You kind of come in and you want to do one. If you do well, you have fun. But I think the overall kind of atmosphere and energy feels very light, and it is amazing to see kind of like, you know, at the start line or at the finish line, I feel like the athletes have like good camaraderie and just like a lighter, happier energy.
So let's talk about men now, because we're going to get to both individual men and women this morning before we get to our team workout. The men's competition, it is really shook up. And our champ from last year, James Sprague, not a great start, but wow, what a finish.
What a finish. So he did not look like himself on the first workout yesterday. And we kind of talked about that going in. He's the king of pacing. And suddenly we were like, oh, he's not pacing like he's used to. But he showed up to the second workout. He blew everybody out of the water. He did what James does. And one of the greatest things that he does is his perspective. And he never backs down from a fight. And so I love seeing that. It's not like, oh, I had a rough start. He flips a page and he just shows up like he wants to show up for workout number 2.
All right, I'm going to throw you right under the bus now. Expectations on today. Who's going to do well? Who's going to maybe fall off? On both men and women.
So I think the obvious ones for women are going to be Laura and Amy, phenomenal bikers, both very strong. And then we throw somebody like Hannah Black, Danny Spiegel into the mix, they're more of the kind of the showstopper athletes who they can put on a show. And so I believe they can do very well today. On the men's side, of course, we have James Sprague, who's always in the battle for king of the Echo bike. We have Travis Mayer, we have Chandler Smith, we have throughout the years, we have very often had a 1-rep max deadlift, and there's 10 of them that can hit 600 plus, so everybody can get very excited about today and to see the numbers that are about to go up.
But I'm going to throw this quickly to you. The Echo bike, 100 calories, 75 calories, ugh.
That's going to be brutal.
What do you think?
I was talking to Fee a little bit earlier, and we were just thinking about playing mind games with ourselves just to distract from the pain. But that's going to be a really fun one to watch and see how the athletes approach that.
I can't wait for the 50 feet run from the Echo bike to the finish line to tick that
You're
up.
going to see some crawls and front flips. And
Aren't we what? Our schedule, a very busy one today as well, a busy schedule yesterday, but we're going to get to our Pro 3 workout first up. Then we'll welcome our teams back on for the first time, back to our OTP show. 4A and 4B for our individuals. The OTP guys will wrap things up with what they've seen right throughout the day, and then we'll finish just like we did last night with a two-parter, 5A and 5B. Exciting stuff for the teams coming up as well. It's having all those teams from Copenhagen just disintegrated and then just rejoining other teams and then coming in.
yeah. I mean, it's so different to be on a team and I feel like you get to win together, you get to lose together, you have to communicate so much together, so it's not always about who is the best athlete, it's who works the best together. And so knowing each other, having trained together is always going to be such a benefit for them. And so for so many of them to be from so close to here, to know each other, to have kind of been in the same vicinity for so long, I think is showing why they're so good.
For sure, and we're going to see the teams coming up a little bit later on. But first, let's take a look at the first workout for our individuals. It is Pro 3.
London Pro 3 is presented by Adidas. London Pro 3 begins with a 50 or 40 calorie row, then a set of 25 burpee box jump overs. A set of 50 dumbbell goblet squats with a 100-pound or 70-pound dumbbell, (50 or 40 calories on the ski), a second set of 25 burpee box jump overs, and finally, a set of 50 double dumbbell thrusters with a pair of 50 or a pair of 35-pound dumbbells. There is a 16-minute time cap for London Pro 3.
Our third workout of our first tour stop and season 2026. Bailey, your initial thoughts on that? Spiky, he's had a good rest overnight, but he's back into action already. Oh, tough going
I
first
bet
up.
Spiky's legs are a little bit sore today. Yeah, so I think that this workout is going to be a lot of leg endurance, and they're going to have to be careful with that front end of the workout because they've got to play the long game for both sets of squats, and so it's kind of how you're going to be able to manage those squats for the day.
100%. It's a 250 rep workout. You kind of just have to turn into a metronome. You just have to keep chipping away, not too fast, not burn yourself out, just keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going is the plan. Our athletes not too far away from coming onto the competition floor for the first time. Early start for our individuals.
Okay, London, make
And
some
heat
noise.
number one.
Heat
Here we go.
one, Pro Women, workout 3. Lane 10, Ingrid Tondel, Norway. Lane 9, Hannah Hardy, United States. Lane 8, Donna Perron, United States. Lane 7, Vivian Marie Christian, Germany. Lane 6, Maribel Gallardo, Spain. Lane 5, Marika Seppele, Finland. Lane 4, M. Degouche, United Kingdom. Lane 3, Anja Keller, Germany. Lane 2, Sara Sigmundsdottir, Iceland. Lane number 1, Linda Kiesman, Netherlands.
Assignments for our first pro women's heats. And great to see Linda Casemon and Ingrid Tondel both not able to do much yesterday. Linda Casemon, spoke to her this morning at breakfast and she said that she was going to do as much as she could for the first two, but she said she could do the Echo Bike, probably the worst workout there is. But London Pro 3, here it is.
We have a fantastic mix of calories on a machine. We have row, we have burpee box jump overs into a goblet squat, back to the calories, and then back to the burpee box jump overs, and finishing up with thrusters. We have a phenomenal workout coming right up.
Marika Seppele from Finland, some good results yesterday. Vivian Marie Christian, one of our athletes who came to every tour stop. Anja Keller. Focus, the intent. We're on. Underway for the first workout of day number 2. We're here at the drum sheds in the north of London, up near Tottenham. And the weather, a lot better than I'm used to seeing in London. 4 days of beautiful sunshine outside, but the work's getting done inside. And this is the blueprint presented by Adidas.
So leading from the front. So you want to have a strong start. You never want to feel like you're behind. We talked about kind of becoming a metronome on this. So I think always when you're from the front, you have that push from the athletes not wanting to fall behind. It kind of keeps you on point for what you're doing, and then sending the squat. And that means it's 50 reps. It's gonna feel like it's a long time. It's easy to lose time, but making sure that that is where you can easily lose time. So make sure that that is where you go, have a good plan going into it, and just knock them out.
Our pro women getting to work immediately. And someone you know a fair bit about, Sarah Sigmundsdottir, one of our taller athletes. Obviously with that extra height comes an increase in what you're able to do on the machines.
Well, not only height, but she is a very strong puller. So she is a great rower. She's historically always been very good on the machines. If it's the Sarah Sigmundsdottir that we know and that we have seen, she's not scared of going out strong on machine. She's not scared of kind of taking a little bit of a lead and still knowing that she can keep going. I'm kind of wondering if she's going to play it a little bit safer, just seeing how she did yesterday. It'll be interesting to see when she comes off of the rower. But playing to her strength, she should definitely make up some time on the rower. We know with calories that they kind of go up exponentially. So you always kind of, meters versus calories, you always want to kind of get a strong row in if it's calories, which it is today. Sarah's judge's hand goes up right there in the mix.
Not too far away. Bailey, we're looking at Pro 3 straight away. What sticks out to you as the point at where athletes are going to start struggling a little?
Yeah, I think that you definitely need to have that strong start, but you have to have in the back of your mind that those squats. So you have to know that you want to start off strong, but you can't get caught up in what everyone else is doing, because once those squats start, that's whenever that sticking point is going to happen, especially with those heavy legs from yesterday.
Well, let's talk about 50 goblet squats with a dumbbell.
And that dumbbell's not light.
No, it's not. We're going to 100 pound and 70 pound, and we're at that point where with that increased fatigue from yesterday, the athletes are going to start really feeling it. Are we going to see people go right through and do them unbroken, or is it going to be a specific, like a negative split 30-20 or something similar?
I think it depends on the athlete. It depends on what their strengths and their weaknesses are. I think we're going to see some people probably break it up, because you don't just have 50 squats in the middle, you have 50 at the end as well. So you have to still pace that middle. That way that you can still hit those 50 thrusters at the end.
Exactly. I honestly don't think you even need to go unbroken.
I don't think so either.
I think more about cycle speed. Yeah. So getting the cycle speed done, rather putting the dumbbell back down, but being very diligent with your rest and with your sets. There's a lot of work left.
I also think that having to move up your dumbbell is also going to play into that with how they're going to break things up. And
yeah, exactly. Kind of using that move forward as an intentional rest.
Yes.
Our burpee box jump overs, one of the toughest. Thankfully, it's only 25.
Yeah.
But Sarah, as you mentioned, Kat, doing pretty well early on.
And those legs have to feel heavy as they're jumping over that box as well.
Interesting. Sarah Sigmundsdottir in lane number 2, and Hannah Hardy, lane number 9, your current leaders. And shop now, Adidas Drop Set 4. Scan the QR code, get yourself the latest Adidas Drop Set 4 trainer. And the tough parts of Pro 3, the goblet squats. Some athletes, Anya Keller, just to the right of our screen, seems to be working pretty well. Sarah, as we saw yesterday with that bounding and trying to get those dubs done with the heavy rope, it was just a bit of a struggle to get off the ground.
Yeah, I think she has spoken about not being able to do a lot in training, so I think that was showing a little yesterday.
The fourth member of our team, Lauren Smith, standing by on the competition floor. Good morning.
Morning, guys. I have been in the warm-up area with the athletes in the build-up to this opening event, and I was chatting to Vivian Maria Christiansen's coach, Valentine Horstman, from the PACE programming. And look, she's feeling super disappointed by yesterday because that had some wheelhouse workouts for her. She has had a great prep running into this tour stop, so she hasn't quite lived up to her own expectations. But what was really interesting is we were talking about how to manage an athlete when they're going into something disappointed or just even remotely emotional. And Valentine was saying that with Vivian, he works on emotion. So he could give her a set pace and a set strategy for this workout, or he could allow her to judge that based off how she's feeling in that moment. And that for him is what gets the most out of her as an athlete. So we're hoping for a big bounce back in this opening workout on day number 2.
Thank you, Lauren. Ingrid Tondel to the far right of screen. It is great to see Ingrid back competing. We know how much of a competitor she is, and she's done so much training, and that risk causing a few issues as Hannah Hardy now moves forward to the ski.
We also have Anya Keller on the ski.